Hey everyone, Ashley here. I am reporting live from Santiago. I'm here with Cameron, and I thought that I would put all of your guys' mind at ease regarding your entry into Chile and getting down to Antarctica. I know that we've experienced some issues with our mobility pass, so I just wanted to walk you through that. I walked down to the Ministry of Health today and got some things sorted out and asked a whole bunch of questions for you guys coming that should help with the entire process. So I created a little Google Doc with some information along with some links and what you can expect. I'll walk you through that, and then I'll let you know some other things that I found out that might be helpful. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll give a link to the document to everyone, but essentially at the top it says, what you need to board your flight and what you'll need when you land in the Santiago airport. And I try to keep it all like bullet and super simple. And I give links like throughout, and then I have them all below. Then the three main portals you'll be interacting with while in Santiago when you get here. Then we've got the documents that you keep that you receive from the Santiago airport, the timing you can expect on everything based off of our situation. And I figured out a lot of what happened with ours, so I will share it with you. And then the mobility pass statuses and translations from Spanish to English and what they mean. And then I've got some helpful links here of everything that I referenced above in this like one section here. So what you need when you go to the airport, you need your negative PCR test. So I have everything saved to my phone in the most recent, photos. I take screenshots. So you're going to need basically like your PCR test 72 hours in advance of a nasal swab that you'll need. And then, I have this QR code from the state of Arizona with both my vaccines because this process didn't allow, a handwritten card to go through. So I always have those on my phone just in case. Then you're going to need some sort of proof of insurance. So this is COVID specific. We got extra coverage. They do look at the limits when you arrive at the first stand, but they're mostly looking just for some verbiage that says COVID on it. So make sure you have that available. Then this is the first round of the mobility pass once you get approved through your vaccines. I know a couple of you have, done multiple submissions, as have I. I had to go get that QR code that I showed you, this one from the state of Arizona to even be able to get this mobility pass. I have a really cool Forbes article that helps with the different states and what apps and stuff they're using. So I'll put a link to it actually in the bottom in the helpful links. And then this is the traveler's affidavit, which looks, very similar to the mobility pass. But you'll fill this out 48 hours before your flight. You can't do it before or else it expires. And then you will show this as well. And then I always keep a copy of my passport handy just in case we need it for whatever reason. So that's essentially what you're going to need as far as documents go. We had to fill out Verify app because we were using American Airlines, and we actually had to upload some of these documents to get Verify approved. So if your airline uses some sort of app, you'll most likely need to get the Verify thing as well. And I usually screenshot the approval of that as well. Or, access them on your Files app, but make sure they're downloaded because mine go back up to the cloud every so often. So BioNet, once you arrive, everyone, regardless if you have a connection or not, you're going to have to go through the BioNet lab process where they actually do the PCR test. And if you do have a connection, you do the PCR test and then you get routed, I don't know, it might even be after immigration, before or after immigration, and then you can go to your flight, but make sure that you have enough time in between. So you're going to be interacting with this portal after you get the test, and you go to a kiosk first and it prints out something like this. You want to keep this because it has 2 different codes that you need to access your results, and the website is down here. So that will appear anywhere from like 6 to like 18 hours after you have the test done. And just because you have the negative test result doesn't mean that your mobility pass is active. So they actually send the test, and let me find it. So like this was my negative test result. I got this before it actually was sent over to the Mi Vacuno, the mobility pass portal, and linked up. So I just downloaded this just in case, which you guys are going to want to do in case your mobility pass is not active and they want to verify that you actually got a negative, negativo result. So you'll interact with that portal first. Then you guys are used to this Mi Vacuno mobility pass and vaccine portal. That's where you uploaded your identification and you've done multiple rounds of your vaccines. Your mobility pass, you need it before you fly and when you enter, but then they will update it, after you get your PCR test, and then hopefully make it active for you to move around. One thing to note, the PCR test button inside of the portal, it's yellow. You can only click that up to 3 times per day, or else it will lock you out for the remainder of the day, and you can't see the updated results in the portal itself until the next day. So be mindful of that. And then the last portal is going to be the auto self-report of symptoms. So for 10 days, you have to report in if you have any COVID symptoms, regardless if your COVID test was negative or not. So you'll receive an email with a specific code in it, and I think there's even a link. And when you go to that site, it's gonna transfer you to another page, and then it's gonna probably have you log into your Mi Vacuno website, and then it links the accounts because it links the self-report, Mi Vacuno, and the Bionet together. And then you can go back to the auto report and enter or fill out the survey. And they want you to do that as soon as you get to your hotel or Airbnb for 10 days. So the slips, again, this is the Bionet one after you take your COVID test. And then you'll also want to keep this immigration code, paper, whatever, once you go through there. I thought you probably didn't need it, but I went ahead and checked into an Airbnb and they did actually ask for it and wanted to make a copy of it. So definitely keep track of that. In regards to timing, we arrived around 10 a.m. We probably had the test taken and we thought it was going to be a lot longer, like 3 hours, but something happened. And I mean, there were lines. We had a huge line this way, and then there was another huge line down a different hallway. We thought we were hunkering down, and then all of a sudden they let us through. So we got our test taken about an hour and a half after we landed. We probably got all the way through immigration and our baggage, because your bags are going to be waiting there in this giant room because of so much time, a couple hours, like about 2 hours. And if you're doing a connection, you want to make sure that your flight, you have enough time or buffer to do that. And I'll tell you why I'm saying connections, because it is an option for you guys. So I did not get the test result in this results portal, not Mi Vacuno results portal, until 3:30 a.m. the following day. About 16 to 18 hours later, Cameron was about 5:30 a.m. And we tried going to dinner that night, and the mobility pass, the QR code, did not work. It wasn't activated because you could not see the result in the Mi Vacuno app. So then I checked it the next morning when I woke up, like 8, 9 a.m. and I saw a negative result. I did not see an update in the status of the QR code itself, the mobility pass. So it's still, for me, read in progress. And today, even now, it still reads in progress, even though I just went to the health ministry and they confirmed with me that it was in fact, or is, enabled. So you want that habilitado, that means enabled. So it is enabled, but ours, the reason why we got so confused is because it never changed status, which I think is a glitch, but somehow on the back end, it did update. And I'm hoping that it was, right when I noticed the test result negative in the Mi Vacuno portal as well. We never had it scanned again because the status didn't change. So we don't know for sure. But one nice thing about going to the Ministry of Health today, they told me about this site. So it's scanmivacuno.gov.cl. You can actually scan your own pass and see if it's activated or not. And these are the statuses that you'll see. So inhabilitado is disabled. Ours is stuck in corso or in progress, but really is actually habilitado, which is enabled. So we're looking for this enabled or habilitado. All sites can pretty much be translated in English. Do you see this double A here? If you click on it, there's usually translate to English on there or whatever your default language is. So you might find that actually super helpful. And in the Mi Vacuno itself, when you click the hamburger and scroll down, there's usually like a language setting around here for English or Spanish, so you can toggle. Okay, so and here are the helpful links. I'm gonna actually also add that Forbes article that I mentioned that has the different apps that different US states are working with to get the QR code to get your mobility pass before your flight, which requires like 14 days. So I hope you've been submitting and resubmitting. And then there's one other resource I'm going to link, but I forgot at the moment. So let me show you this. So this site is going to be the traveler's affidavit that you guys need. And again, 48 hours before flying or it will expire. And I added the name up here for you guys. So the name of it, Certificado Digital de Ingreso a Chile. So, and then like the mobility pass, Pase Digital de Vaccinación de Chile. So I put how it's going to look in Spanish for you guys when you have it. Then this is the Bionet portal where you're going to get your initial COVID test results. When you first pull up, there's going to be a pop-up and it's going to want more information and it directs you over to the Mi Vacuno website or portal. So you enter your credentials and log in, and then you're able to toggle back, and then you can, get your results online. And then the Mi Vacuno, sorry. You can download the one that you received prior to your flight here. This is that yellow button that I'm telling you about that you can only press 3 times a day. And it'll tell you if it's negative or processing or not. So like I said, we had the results in the one portal, but this is still processing and it took till the next morning to show up in this portal because I think that's a manual process. And then this is the view where you can see your actual QR code. Again, like I said, ours is still in progress, but it is active. And then as soon as you arrive, when you're in line, you're going to receive an email that has a code in it and a link. So just use the code out of the email. And you basically, if you are entering for the first time, you must sign up here. Do that. It'll ask you for the code and log in. And it's nice because it actually keeps you logged in pretty much every day. And this is essentially what you see when you go in. So every day for 10 days, you're going to want to fill out these little symptoms, just no, confirm, and you're good to go. And you fill that out regardless of if you have a negative COVID test or not. And then this little gem, the scan mivacuno.gov.cl. I thought you had to log in, so I tested this myself. You actually don't, but you can do it on your phone or here and scan pass. And it's going to ask for camera access, just okay. And then you can scan it and then you can see the status of your pass immediately. So a couple other things to note. I know that you guys are staying in Santiago that night. I confirmed with a woman, and I actually have her email address as well if we have a lot of extra questions. She was saying that if you want to connect, when you go into this traveler's affidavit and it's asking you where you are staying, if you put Punta Arenas, you should be able to land in Santiago, take the test, go through immigration, make your connection, and go to Punta Arenas. And it's there that you will have to wait for your results. So that circumvents, the whole timing issue where it took us about 45 hours to get the pass enabled, thinking we got the pass enabled in Mi Vacuno from when we landed. So I know that you guys have all changed your flights. And I know that maybe somewhere it said that you probably shouldn't do that, connect, but I think some people have looked to see if that's changed. And I think you can connect the same day. I don't want to throw everyone into a tizzy, so definitely check with Sophia and Glenda. My only consideration is that if you stay in Santiago and it is not active, you're going to have a lot more issues getting through security because your pass doesn't work and it isn't activated than if you were already at the airport, just took the test and had the connection. So I want to throw that out there. I know it's changing stuff again, but that is what the person that I talked to at the health ministry said herself. So that is one thing to consider. The other thing is that I'm sure if you end up having the negative result downloaded to your phone, negative results downloaded to your phone when you show up, I'm sure that that'll probably be okay. And there are Ministry of Health people available at the airport to potentially help. But I mean, you're definitely going to want to show up early to make sure that you get through if the pass does not activate within the overnight time frame. So it is best to have 2 or 3 days, whether you stay in Santiago first or you connect directly through to Punta Arenas and have a few days in Punta Arenas to make sure that the pass does in fact get enabled. So that's all I have. I hope it wasn't super confusing. Tried to make it as simple and bulleted as possible. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. I'm no longer in the WhatsApp group. I don't appreciate being told what I can and can't share to the group. So if you want my help, you can reach out to me directly. Cameron knows how to find me. My email is ash.perona, Perona @gmail.com. And I look forward to meeting and connecting with all of you in a few weeks. Bye, guys.